weak way to round this out. But I guess we'll see what they can get done with it.
Yeah, back onto the Rift, and will we see another invisible Lilia? I certainly hope not, but it will be interesting. Obviously, Halpigs are 0-3 in front. Obviously, they are the 3, but we'll have to see if they can continue this hot streak against Frank. If they are going to, they will cement themselves as 6th. I mean, same thing for Frank. If they win, will be 6th spot. And as I said earlier in the broadcast, it really is crunch time. So this could be one of the most important games for either of these teams headed into the final 2 weeks. And I think a true test here for Godtone, considering most of their wins come off him playing some form of champ that can press R and lock down a champ. Right now, on the Poppy, doesn't really have the ability to do that.
No, does not have the same consistent output that he would normally. And Adiogs with the absolute focus and the Scorch.
Pretender.
Yeah, Spellbook Ari. I like it versus Syndra. Swap to defensive Sum after 6, of course. I think it does make laning a lot easier. But Adiogs, he's gone for a really strong page. I'm not sure he needs the biscuits. Don't really do a whole lot for you on Syndra. Doesn't use a whole lot of mana, but still, he's got the page to put on the pressure.
Now, I want to get your opinion on something, right? Because usually, if you are the Syndra in this instance, you're not usually going to be against the Lilia. So you'll feel a lot of pressure at 6 and have to be careful. But it almost feels like in this game specifically, at level 6, it's going to be Pretender who has to give up sort of autonomy in his lane, because it feels like Poppy can come and deny you your Spirit Rush long enough for Adiogs to lock you up and pretty much just kill you, as long as there's been a little bit of poke done beforehand. So what I'm going to ask is, when you get to level 6, what defensive sum do you take? Do you take the exhaust to use on Syndra, maybe a barrier, maybe a heal, or a cleanse?
I think you probably take cleanse or heal. A heal for 2v2 and move speed is really nice, especially up against Syndra. Oof, big trades coming out on top. And of course the cleanse, just for getting out of those. It could also depend what item he rushes. You know, he could rush Mercs as well, in which case maybe you don't take the cleanse. But, I mean, trades are going really well for Adiogs. Makes sense, right? He has that full early game page, but at the same time must be landing a lot of skill shots. And Godtone, he's maybe looking for a dive, which I think is really good if they can pull it off. Ooh, stun went wide, though.
That's bad news.
Yeah,
Godtone's still looking, though.
I think with the stun used, that's probably the window gone, but maybe, yeah, maybe they could have found something there. Adiog's doing a great job, though. He's getting some nice punishment under that tower. Just needs to make sure he doesn't get charmed or something. Kenny Chan is spotted. Now, there is mid Prio, of course, but bot Prio does not favor the side of Hellpigs. So this bot scuttle, this blue is still up. They could be getting invaded on this, because Adiogs has to recall. Let's see what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, I think he wants to invade it.
He's going in.
Pretender should be able to move as well. Adiogs still hasn't reset. This is really bad for Godtone.
Oh, dodges that. That's pretty important. IC8 will have first rotation. Puts down the ward. And Godtone choosing not to do it for now. Adiogs has to be careful. Does land a nice stun there onto Pretender, which should ensure his safety. But importantly, with Kenny Chan as well as Kaiwing in this lane, it's going to put a lot of pressure down onto Adiogs, and he won't be able to recall yet. And with how low his mana is, that should cement this blue buff going over to Kenny Chan.
I think so. Seems like Adiogs staying for a bit too long, as well as that bot pro does cost them. Pretender, he got a Doran's ring, so has invested a lot into surviving this early game. IC8, what's he doing?
Oh, okay, you're getting a bit frisky. There he tries to come along with that zap. In fact, finding a lot of damage. Eing forward onto this Lilia. A lot of damage found there from Tide and a lot of confidence to look for it. Godtone pinged out. Kaiwing in the area. We'll spot out where this Poppy is.
Adiogs actually hasn't reset yet, so he's probably just waiting for the Lost Chapter buy. It's going to cause him to give up a little bit of pressure over this lane, but once he gets it, he will be much stronger, of course.
Yeah, and he does feel pretty safe until 6. There's no real kill pressure that can come over from the Ahri. And then at 6, as long as he gets his recall off before that, Should be okay. Headbutt used to stop any form of freeze happening. Taco picking himself up his first plate. He is level 6 to solo kills level 5. Smartly does avoid any tower damage as well as pick up a nice chunk of healing there from that Color the Meek.
He's doing a good job up here in the CS.
Yeah, massive difference.
With that plate gold as well. It feels like after these first bases come through, he's going to be very far ahead.
Yeah, and I think this is the reason why we see so constantly now Taco having this Renekton just banned against him. Teams aren't willing to run the risk of having a draft in a way that allows Taco to get this Renekton, and that's what we're seeing here. Finding himself a nice early advantage. Headed towards, obviously, the Gore Drinker.
Some other interesting choices. It does look like Pretender swapped to the Ignite and is rushing towards the Mercs. And Adiox goes for the CDR boots, which is kind of strange. Not too sure why. Maybe just didn't have a lot of gold and that was the only thing he could buy. I think it was most likely. Trades in mid though, I mean, with that MR and Ignite there for Pretender, Adiox does actually have to be a little careful in the 1v1, which isn't really how you wanted this to go, especially given the focus you put towards your early game and your runes. Tide takes a little bit of damage, but he's fine. I'll turn in river first. There is honey fruit there if Syndra can get to it. Waiting in the wings here is Godtone. Ooh, stun does go wide. Don't think anything would have come of it, but would have been a nice chunk. Well, looks like this dragon won't be looked at. Most likely Herald now becomes the focus. And this is a fight that both teams will want. I think it should be better for Hellpigs. Renekton feels like it just almost always wins the Herald fight, but it's Kaiwing who has first move from bot. To Hellpigs, they need to slow this down. They want to wait until their bot lane can come as well.
Kenny Chan 6 and Goldtone only halfway, which really could be the difference maker if there were to be a Herald fight breakout. In fact, even more than that, it is Eminem who's up in the area. Taco, though, immediately looking here for Kenny Chan, is getting so low, in fact, not even able to get that Color Meek off. And Pretender trying to find Adiox is going to end up having a Spirit Rush away, but it is first blood picked up there. Does unfortunately go over towards Kaiwing, but is going to be the Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, I think Taco just kind of went in a bit too early, needed to wait for his route to come from base. Should have known that they were down on tempo. Instead, he goes in a bit too early, and it does cost them. And this is maybe where you might start to see the Hellpigs game plan start to fall apart. They almost always get this Herald and just use it on top lane for Taco. But here, you see Rel is so far from base, but Kaiwing's already here. Really just have no business looking for this fight. Adiox chunked out as well. I have to feel this is partially because of the items he bought. Hasn't really built for lane, whereas now the Merc Treads for Pretender definitely has a lot of early game damage. Early game tankiness.
Importantly though, Tide feeling fairly happy in this game so far.
Looks like he's going the Shiv. Probably Shiv and AD.
Even AD,
yeah.
Zeri does go the Shiv. There he is. Definitely one of the AD carries that struggles with wave clear the most. You don't really want to commit your E to clearing out a minion wave.
Taco is still doing a monstrous job in the top lane.
Yeah, despite that early death, he's really not feeling too bad about himself.
Yeah, imagine if they had the Herald. I mean, they could just use it now and tower would be broken, which pretty much always happens.
Yeah, they do pick themselves up the Dragon, though, which is important. I don't even know what team really I favor in terms of outscaling, because obviously the Syndra scales extremely hard, as does the Zeri, but Kai'Sa, Lilia, Cassante, no slouches.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to execution.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really going to be a scaling game.
There's
but
not really any lacking damage or tankiness really coming through either team. IC8 being looked at here by Kaiwing. Headbutt Pulverize combo used. It is likely, though, that this blue buff will be going over to Kenny Chan yet again. That's the second time this game he's picked up that buff. Godtone does have to be careful coming back into his own jungle, though. We'll spot out Kenny Chan. Is not going to look for the wall bang there.
No, but he's starting to fall pretty far behind.
Oh, good stun by Adiox, but is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it. He's going to get comboed there by the Alistair, stunned up, and Pretender should be able to lock himself up that kill. In fact, will. And that's another solo lane going down here for Halpigs. Kill given to Pretender.
That is some of the weakness of Adiog's champ pools. It's very gankable. And a champ like Ari sets up ganks very, very well. And Eminem, he was maybe looking for something bot there. Did have Kaiwing and River, but it's not to be. Did just show mid, so he should know.
Darko though, up 30 CS pretty much. 25.
Yeah, he's pretty close to another plate as well. Solo kill, he has TP soon, but not quite yet.
This is first item Thorn now. Oh, I'm so sick of this, man.
Okay, he's going to be forced away with that cooldown not available. And mid lane, we've seen this happen to Adios before, where he's fallen behind and then just scaled up and carried anyway. But I do think that Syndra with like kind of these runes, this setup, should be finding a bit more early game, but maybe a bit of misexecution around the bases has cost him. Now Herald does get dropped. It is Rod of Ages Lilia again. I think this game though, it's a bit more understandable. A heal now for Pretender is going to make that 2v2 really, really difficult. Don't think Adiogs is going to be able to find a whole lot. God, Tony's looking towards top.
Yeah, Kaiwing here though, Flash.
Flash on
pulverize. Yeah, Kenny Chan should be able to find this one. Isn't going to commit the sleep at least yet. Should just be able to burn down the Syndra eventually. Just dancing, delaying the back.
Delaying the base.
Will eventually pick up that kill. As again, these are the problems with Syndra. Flash comes up just too late. Came up pretty much as Adiogs dies. Still not able to get towards that Leandres just yet.
No, it's very, very delayed, and a lot of gold picked up by Pretender, of course. The Herald was dropped mid before, and now he gets even more.
Stopwatch as well. Oh, did he miss that ward? He did.
That's pretty rough. I think once he commits to this direction, he is pretty dead no matter what.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, he wanted to run with his jungler, but there just isn't really any safety from Lilia, and I think delaying the base is really smart. Could have even delayed it longer, honestly, and just let Ari take more on mid lane. Adiogs, he does TP back, but still no Mythic picked up here 13 minutes in. You can definitely get stuck on this point where you just don't quite have the gold to get to it. Oftentimes happens if you do rush those tier 2 boots and then fall behind. It is that first item Thornmail now picked up for solo kill. TP's back.
Was positioning aggressively, but Taco, aware of the item disparity, will likely recall here, although maybe he's trying to pick up one more wave. I imagine he has his gold drinker pretty soon, considering the CS advantage he's found himself at, as well as those plates. Now, Static Shiv obviously is completed here for Tide. It'll be interesting to see what he goes next. Navori, definitely an option. But Theory, kind of similar to Kai'Sa, can build almost anything she wants.
Yep. Pretender, he's got that Everfrost now. So it's going to be very hard for those immobile targets to deal with. Especially with all the CC layering that can come through. Feels like Syndra with no mercs, no cleanse is extremely vulnerable. It's going to need a position really, really well. And Adiogs, hopefully he can get this Leandres before this dragon fight starts. The dragon is up in 5, but no one's really looking for it just yet. Okay, so starting up the Herald is Frank.
It will be a trade. I kind of don't mind giving over the Herald. You will lose your mid tower.
Yeah.
But as long as you get this dragon, it's not too terrible. Although Godtone starting it up, his bot lane yet to move up there, and Kaiwing, as well as Pretender, approaching from the north. Now Adiogs has to be careful when entering this, because there is a ward that will spot him out if he tries to go through that banana bush. It is just going to be, however, this dragon picked up here for Halpigs. It's 2 dragons now for them, and it will be the Air Soul, which isn't the greatest, but it does definitely help the likes of Adiogs to survive in these team fights as at a mobile mage. As well as it can be used very, very well with this Zeri, but ICA going forward with the Magnet Storm will not actually land. It is the Unrelenting Force used there to get a pretty decent chunk, as well as first tower found for Tide. So that's a lot of gold onto the Zeri.
That is a nice pickup. I mean, getting first tower while giving 2 Heralds is pretty good.
That's kind of insane to think, really.
Yeah, I guess just traded so many bot plates during those times. Mid tower does survive, so it's going to be used bot, which I think, I mean, mid tower's probably, mid tower's low enough they can get it anyway, so it isn't going to be a huge issue. Tender will pick that one up for himself. Bot tower, it lives for now, but should be taken out in the not too distant future. Leandri's here now for Adiogs, but you just feel it's ever so slightly too late. Wasn't there for that skirmish they had before. Now, admittedly, they got their 2 drags, so they're still kind of okay.
Yeah, I think all things considered, you're not feeling too bad as Halpigs just yet. They are down 2k gold. His teleport will come through here. It is going to be Pretender arriving. Spirit Rush should be available. In fact, it is. He lands a charm there on Goldtone, who tried to flash forward, but it's going to be Zeri. She's going fast. She's going very, very fast. Finds 1 kill. Pretender trades 1 back. Has 2 uses of that Spirit Rush available. Sleep comes through. Tide does stay alive, but Adiogs does not have that same fate. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade here, and Tide going to have to back off. Means this tower goes over to Frank as well.
Frank just
3
clean
kills
house in that team fight. Earlier they found so much value. I think the Ari charm on the Poppy was phenomenal as well. And that really catapults them into the lead. While they do have some dragons to make up, they're very far ahead now. And also there's sums missing on the Hellpigs carry, so they can definitely be punished again. Pretender still has all of his. Get a replay of how it went down. Proactive TP comes out of Pretender. Is matched by Adiogs, as well as another TP. So this is a 5 versus 4.
Cancelled,
it got cancelled. Okay. Itaku didn't make it in. It could have been a very different fight. The Syndra ult being used on the Alistar feels probably not worth it. And now they're just really lacking damage, and Kenny Chan takes full advantage. 3-man here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so much damage that can come through.
I feel like should have been used perhaps onto the Kai'Sa there, living on sub 200 health, but ultimately it wasn't. They do find themselves 1 kill on the Alistar, but lose a tower as well as 3 members for their trouble. 2 members, shall I say. Kaiwing finding so much value really with this Alistar. Caught Adiogs out a couple times. Started that initial tower dive there that resulted in a very favorable trade for them. Now Kenny Chan will be wallbanged and stunned up here by IC8. Magnet Storm also committed and does follow it up with the stun. Now Taco is importantly going to be at this fight. Nice combo there from Kaiwing to delay any damage, but it's Tide. He does pop his ult, has to be careful of solo kill here as Taco is not able to find Kenny Chan. Kenny Chan gets it for himself. Tide not able to continue using this Zeri ult. Will eventually fade, and the result is just 1 kill here. Again going over the side of Frank. They're in a very dominant position now.
We'll start working on this top tower. And the top lane is combined a 0-3 this game. Haven't really found a way in. This should be more gold going over to Pretender. So Ari normally kind of a utility champ for sure, but with how much gold Pretender's picked up, he probably will do a pretty meaningful amount of damage, you'd have to think. Especially on Adiogs, who doesn't have any magic resist to speak of against that double AP mid-jungle. Maybe he'll work on the Banshees now. A Dragon in 50 more seconds, and Frank, they will definitely want to come down here and get this one. Navori is picked up by Tide there.
Yep, and Tide should almost have cleanse for this fight. I say it obviously, both sums can be very important. Eminem importantly doesn't have either. Should have cleanse as well though, by the time the fight begins. And Taco walking down early means we are likely to see a full 5-on-5 here. Have to see where Solo Kill is positioned. Yep, he likewise positioned in this bot lane. 15 seconds now out from this Air Dragon. As Godtone stunned up, but is able to run away. Looks like they are just going to give it though and get to work on that top tower. Trade over a bit of gold. Doesn't feel too bad.
I have to question Adiog's build here a little bit. He's going towards the Void. There's not much MR, and while there might be MR that comes through later, if you go Void second here, you're gonna... it's gonna be so long before you get your items. On top lane though, Tender did TP up here. It does not save the tower. They might actually make a play on him. There's an Alistair in the river, but they don't go for it. Kenny Chen grabs that first dragon for them. Oh, where do we go from here? Tide, he might be looked at on the mid wave. Kenny Chan's very, very quick. We'll just back away, but I think Hellpigs, they're starting to struggle now. They're gonna get more of their jungle taken away from them. And now that dragon win condition's kind of slipping away from them too. Kind of feels like it comes down to just some big team fight, which is still very winnable for them if they play it well. But certainly in Frank's favor.
Absolutely. The XP there on the side. Pretty much all roles, excluding support, is favoring Frank at this given time.
Mid lane items as well look tragic.
Horizon Focus obviously finished up here from Pretender on the Ahri. Does have cleanse available from that unsealed spellbook, but Kaiwing goes in, and there is a lot of people up here in this top quadrant. Pretender, Spirit Rush forward, will not find the charm, will also not find much else, but it's going to be solo kill. Finding the all out there onto Godtone through the wall. There's Poppy down now. Baron. Are they going to look at it? Looks like they will be looking at it. Now, this might not be as simple as them just taking it. Kaiwing fairly low, solo kill also half health. Does receive a little bit of poke here. Zeri ult still available as well as the Rel ult, but Kaiwing finds a nice engage. Tide trying to do what he can, is going to go to sleep, but Taco finds one, it's returned there. Kenny Chen finding himself two. Tide flashing forward. There's so low health bars here on the side of Frank, as Tide might look for a snipe here. Is not going to have the range though. And the difference between a won and lost team fight there was about 30 HP on 4 members.
That was crazy. I mean, Kaiwing, he finds that massive engage and you're thinking, okay, this fight's over. But Tide goes absolutely ballistic. And something I'm sorry to say we're going to see in the replay is another Syndra used on Alistair.
Oh no.
We'll see how it happens. Really nice by Kaiwing to play here. And I think no choice really for Hellpigs. They kind of have to walk forward. But I think, honestly, even if Syndra just gets dropped on Ahri or something here, anyone except Alistair, honestly.
Yeah.
And Tide's just going to clear everyone else. Yeah, I mean, if that Ahri is 1 HP, then he might just kill them all.
I also want to say, if this was the last season, Zeri Flash Ghosts.
True.
That was a penta. That champion was doing stupid things when paired with Yuumi and Lulu.
Yep. Ultimately, though, those small differences mean a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with the mid lane item situation, too. I mean, Adiox is so weak, and that fight was still so close. And remember, Godtone was picked instantly to Tide. I mean, he just went crazy for that to even be close. Still posturing around Baron, though. And Frank, if they find another pick, will turn back to it.
Now, all things considered, the game isn't really that out of hand. There is obviously a very strong Lilia, a very strong Ahri, but Tide is very strong in his own right. Doesn't have sums for this fight, though, as Frank are looking towards this Baron. Adiox is going to have to find some poke here for this to be somewhat meaningful, but it's going to be Kaiwing again, finding the exact same play, but this time, is it going to be as good? It's going to be the Syndra used onto solo kill, but the team fight's going so well. Look at how much damage this Renekton is soaking up. He's 1v3ing, and he's absolutely delaying everything here. It's 2 for 1 in favor of Hellpigs this time. And I think Taco was having a hell of a time there up against those 3 carries.
He was just on him for so long. But I mean, the Hellpigs, it's starting to go back to them. I think if Adiox can get some decent items, could find themselves actually in a good spot here. And obviously don't really have to worry about the dragons. Kaiwing in the exact same spot.
Play, yeah.
Finds it again, but not onto the tanks. Or not on the carries. Now I think Adiox, I think it might have been on Alistair again.
Oh my god, it was.
Oh my god. The fact that these are so close when Syndra is not doing anything is really impressive. Void stuff now completed.
Round 3.
All right.
Except all the Hellpigs, except Adiox is in base. Nice
damage.
stun, Kenny Chan. Quite low. Baron, though, is very, very low. Godtone is going to be just too late. He's now stuck in the pit. Are they going to come in with him, though? That nice ult there from him will mean at least one member's removed, but ultimately the Hellpigs are just too late to the play. aren't able to fight that. It's Baron going over to Frank. Dragon spawning in 5 seconds. It looks like Halpig's very aggressively positioning for it. And there is pretty much every spell that you need up. Pretender obviously is missing Flash as well as Tide. We'll have to see. Okay, Kenny Chan will spot out. Taco might not. Kaiwing though is alone, but it's going to be so much dive match, and it's just an absolute slaughter. 3 members going down in very quick succession here for Halpigs, and it's just Taco and Godtone alone. And with this Baron, it looks like Inhib will be picked up as well as the Dragon eventually, but massive team fight there found.
Yeah. I think Halpigs could have just given that one up. They didn't even really need the Dragon. I wonder if they'll push to end. I mean, a lot of the wave clear is gone. The Puppy ult's down too. Are they going to go for more? It looks like they'll try.
They are for now. Eminem very low on mana. Kenny Chan does flash forward, but only lands the Drowsy onto Taco, who will Zhonya's it up. There is very short cooldowns on, or respawn, shall I say, for Halpigs. And with that, they are going to back away. They're going top side, so we might even still see a Dragon fight yet. But take us away with this shot.
I really think they should have just given it. I mean, this is a 4v5 for a second drag. You really just don't care that much. And once again, Kaiwing finds an incredible engage. And it's really hard, I think, to control all the flanks when you only have 4 members, right? Because you just can't mark all the flanks. You need some of your tanks alive. Okay.
Right, here we go again.
Another 5v5.
No ult on Renekton. Used it, obviously, back at base, but similarly, there is no ult available for Lilia. Godtone, though, is going to get charmed up. Importantly, Solo Kill will miss that knock-up. And Taco, again, no ult. Dominus not available means he's so weak. And Kaiwing just charging forward non-stop. And with this relentless pursuit, it's just going to be so many kills. And I think it's just misplay after misplay here for Halpigs as your wave clear is alive, Baron buff is still available as Pretender goes forward inexplicably, and finally Adiog's ults a carry, will secure himself a kill as well as a shutdown. Tide though, your only real wave clear left available.
Oof, can they keep it? I mean,
Towers both up, 15 seconds on timers, 10 seconds for IC8. They might lose just the one tower, but should be okay after that. Nice stun there from Adiog's.
Yeah,
Kaiwing getting poked out. IC8 now back alive. Godtone will be alive also very shortly. They don't manage to get themselves a tower. And the Dragon is still alive, baby. We go again.
Oh, they will be going back to it. Adiog's, he's starting to get very strong. He's dealing a lot of damage. And as you say, if he does ult to carry, it's pretty ridiculous. I think Halpigs, though, they need to find Kaiwing before these fights start, because time and time again, he has himself an incredible flank.
Now, Taco has ult this time. In fact, pretty much every ult will be available. Zeri, importantly, does not have hers, however, which you'd argue might be the most important ult on the team.
Yeah, it is almost up, though. Going through mid this time. This is good.
Oh my god, round 3.
This is good, though. It's hard for Kaiwing to find the flank.
Solo kill, gonna be wallbang there, stun up again, and Adiog's fighting so much damage. Will he execute?
Ooh,
no.
So close.
But solo kill out of the fight. He will have to recall and teleport back, but having that teleport means so much. Now Kaiwing being looked at, he's wallbanged as well. Will have to commit that unstoppable. Oh, sorry. Taco down the bot side is going to be found out. Now solo kill does not have all out available as IC8 running for the hills. Tide does have his ult, is going to get caught by that Lilia though, and does go have a nice little sleep, and the team fight's absolutely over. It's a clean ace. The fight was on 3 fronts, the 3rd time for the Dragon. The Dragon doesn't go down, but the entire team of Halpigs does. It's going to be the game here for Frank. They get revenge for the last time round. They're going to be the sole holder here of the 6th place, and after 30 minutes, they get it done.
They do. After 3 rounds on the Dragon, it is done. And that fight, honestly, if Adiog's had a tiny bit more damage, could have been completely different. If he gets that execute on Cassante,
yeah,
suddenly the fight is really good for them. And I don't know. I mean,